Okay, so we're back for the joy of cleaning, and today we're working with two of these guys. They're pretty straightforward. Cleaning Dreamcast controllers is pretty simple. I have let's see, what is this? Got a couple other ones I should probably take care of while I'm at it and in the mood. Two 6-button controllers for Genesis, but we'll start off with the Dreamcast ones. They're both pretty simple to work on, unlike some other brands. Looking at you, PS2, 360. If you have an Xbox controller for like Xbox 360, Xbox One, it's got issues, honestly. If it's anything beyond just needing to be cleaned because you got it from someone who spilled Coke all over it, you're better off just throwing it away. Those things are just... I'm always puzzled, and I don't mean to sound mean, but Xbox products are just... they're cheap. They behave cheap. They break. They fail all the time. I'm not sure that I've ever come across a Dreamcast controller that didn't work. Dreamcast consoles themselves, yeah, all the time. Especially lately, a lot of bad lasers. But the controllers themselves tend to be good. Same thing with Genesis. Genesis is a solid one. Both the console and the controllers are super easy to work with, and I mean they can take a lot. Matter of fact, I'm not sure I've seen a bad Genesis controller, to be honest. And when it comes to these, I break them down all the way because getting in here is a pain, and most people won't. They'll just stick a Q-tip in there, maybe a brush, maybe. But you know, most marketplace people don't even bother with that. Just why you gotta be careful who you buy from. Ask all the questions. Make sure that you always start your transactions with a greeting. Don't be that guy that just opens the conversation with a question. And for the love of God, don't be that guy that just sends a number and thinks that he's negotiating. Had people write me on Marketplace. Let's say I have an item that's worth $120 and they'll send me something like 40. You know, it used to be annoying at first, but then you just learn to disregard them completely. They're not worth your time usually, which is how it tends to be with people who are cheapskates, to be honest. I know it sounds mean, but hey, it's the way of the world. So we got our rubber membranes. Both of them look in good condition. This goes here. You still want to be gentle when you're cleaning them. That's probably way more than I needed to. And that's just some 409 or maybe Lysol. I'm not sure who refilled the bottle with what. But just a gentle brushing. That's all you need. You really don't need any crazy tools. You don't need one of those rubber mats that every guy who wants to pretend that he's a technician on YouTube buys. Just, as long as you have method and it works. And as long as you know how to work on stuff without causing further damage or any damage at all, you should be fine. When it comes to membranes, even if they look like they're in good condition, they're still a very fragile object, so you still want to be gentle. Especially in current climate, where you're not sure where you're going to source for parts. Shipping costs are still high for a lot of things. Buttons. Cleaning buttons with a rag is pretty straightforward, and it will make sure that you don't run into... which one is this? this one. You know, if you have stuff in there, that's why they'll stick and rub unnecessarily there. So, and this goes for all controllers. It's such a simple thing. Now, in particular for these, you know, you all know that guy that's never washes his hands or whatever. Picks, whether they're little tweezers like this or like dentist picks, they work wonders. And it'll make such a difference. Let's say that you have some weird controller or artifact that you can't open, right? And you always have all that grime in here, all that nasty stuff. Well, these get in there too. Preferably you'll open it and clean it the way we're doing right now, but just if ever you can't, and actually in some cases, even when you open them, you still have to put the pick in there to fully get everything. Thankfully these controllers aren't too bad. Last weekend was 4th of July weekend. Hope everybody had fun. I know we did. I spent a whole lot of money on fireworks, more than ever. It's funny how you are literally seeing your money go up in smoke when you do that. But it's fun, and you do it for the kids. Where I live at specifically, they go crazy with them. Hours and hours. You know, from like, let's say from 8 p.m. till like 2 in the morning. Non-stop fireworks. It's awesome. Okay, so here, soft bristle brush is always your friend. Gets into all the places that Q-tips won't. Expedite the process. Now, one thing I'm not going to do, but you might want to have in your arsenal, is these little guns. I'll turn it on for like a second so that you see why I don't want to use it here. So they're good. They're like, I don't know, $30 on that website that we're not too fond of, because they sell a whole lot of Chinese cheap products and they flood the market. But every now and then a few products are alright. And they come with a whole bunch of attachments too, and little bristle brushes. So this is going to be pretty easy. These controllers are not really bad. It's just that since we advertise that everything gets cleaned, then everything will get cleaned. That's just the way it goes. You feel a lot better and more comfortable when something leaves for its new home and you know that you verified it with your own eyes and hands that it's absolutely good to go. No returns, or that way you don't have to worry about returns or people saying, hey, you did this. Nope. I show you it was working. I know, and I have a record that it works. Because guess what? Even when you're doing everything correctly, you're still going to have scammers try you. But if you CYA everything, you'll be fine. I'm going to use the Forbidden Magic Eraser just a tiny bit here. You don't want to go crazy with it because you're just sanding and scraping off shine and paint. So it's just tiny. These things are looking better. Attention to detail matters. And as you do this hundreds and hundreds of times, you get better at it and it becomes faster. It's actually a lot more tedious doing it here. It's kind of hard to explain why, but so do that. This one, this, and you do it before you put the screw in. That's one side. Done. Over here. This one actually can come further apart too. How does... Oh, you gotta poke it here. Let's be gentle with it. How is it? How do I do it? Probably gonna break it. You're just supposed to push this little tab here. I've done it hundreds of times. I'm worried I'm going to break something. Or cut myself. There we go. I was just afraid to press too hard. That's a fully disassembled shell. And that reminds me that makes this part easier to clean too. Get it with the old razzle dazzle isopropyl. You try not to do that with the membranes, because being rubber or whatever material the membranes are, alcohol will dry them and shorten their life expectancy. It could be tempting because alcohol cleans so well just about everything, but you don't always want to go to your nuke. You gotta escalate, just like in war. Hope that's not a bad word. So, beautiful logo, one of the best ones, in my opinion. But I'm very biased towards Sega. Even though I didn't grow up as a Sega kid. Not by choice. If it was up to me, I would have had everything, right? Probably all of us feel that way. Yeah. I always remember going Toys R Us and looking at everything, being like, wow. When that Saturn came out, I post about that all the time. Mind blown. Seeing Virtua Fighter. See the Saturn kiosk, and then you walk a few feet over and you see the one for Super Nintendo, and you're like, I don't want to play with you anymore. And then, of course, the N64 ones. That was amazing. But Dreamcast, of course, a wonderful machine. I honestly don't know anybody who owned one and doesn't have a lot of love for it. And with good reason. Man, that went faster than I expected. You don't need a whole fancy setup, honestly. I mean, look at the tools we're using. A couple different size screwdrivers, magnetic tips whenever possible, toothbrush, soft bristle brushes, tweezers, like I said, a couple of rags, 409, water, isopropyl, magic eraser for a few moments. Let's move on to the box where the VMUs go. So, like I was saying earlier, removing it just makes the whole process easier. Being able to get your fingers in there, huh? That always helps, right? Man, that was easy. No more dirty jokes. See, you'd have a harder time doing that if it's in here and the sockets are poking through. But that's done. So we come here, and at this point, you don't really need to further break down. You don't need to unplug this. With this type of sockets and most other sockets that are start in this size and smaller, every time you take them off, you run the risk of damaging something. So unless you got replacements lying around, you don't really need to be playing with that. The triggers themselves, rarely will you need to take them off, at least in my experience. I don't think I've ever seen a Dreamcast shoulder button, trigger button, whatever you want to call it, fail, personally. I'm sure it's happened, but like I was saying earlier, they're pretty rugged. they can take a beating. And they were well designed, which is probably the most important part. So we just want to very gently go over the contacts. They look like they're fine, honestly, but we're just going to do it just to be on the safe side since it's already open. And then because we don't want to let the alcohol sit in there, we go back with the dry end of the Q-tip. Take this guy off. Nothing here. Analog stick is sitting well. Generally, you also don't have to take it off, but there you go. And it just pops right back in. Bam. It's an easy machine to work on. Love the Dreamcast. This controller's done. That was so easy. Almost too easy, huh? Oh, watch. Now I'm not going to be able to put it back on. I'm going to struggle more doing that. Alright. So now we go in reverse order. This one comes in from like the back. Kind of weird. How is it? Like this. And then you flip it down. And you push that tab that we had poked. Sit in place. Now this guy. I think this guy is next. Could be wrong. We'll do the buttons next. They got those little grooves. You guys have probably already seen people on YouTube talking about it. So I won't bore you with that wannabe insider knowledge crap. This one was easy. I've seen some bad ones. Even though they were very dirty. This one was fun. Okay, we go here. Man, you find all sorts of stuff. Sometimes you find like dried up Coke in there. The drinking kind, not the nose kind. That. Just a little bit. Hey. Start button. Make sure it's gonna sit in there properly. Yeah. Nice. Okay, yeah, so this one does go in first. Haven't had one of these controllers in a while, I'm not gonna lie. I think I just need to do it like this. There, you got a groove right there. Haven't had to clean one probably in like 2 months. So a little bit out of rhythm. So everything's in. But the buttons feel a little bit loose, so I'm guessing there we go. Now we're up against the shell. You know, whatever checks you can do before you close things up, do them. Otherwise you gotta trace yourself back. Okay, so which ones go first? Skinny little ones. For the VMU socket. Where are you? Is it this one? Kind of hard to tell. And every single controller that comes through here gets this treatment, believe it or not. Even the ones that I just keep for my bench stock, they get this treatment. You take care of your stuff, it'll last you a very long time. Man, I even have my original Nintendo. I actually revived that one last year. It's got Saint Seiya stickers on it. Very reminiscent of the era it came from. Why is that? The tip's not working. That's what she said. Get out. Of course that would do. How did you get in there? No, it doesn't want to come out. Technical difficulties. Help. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back. If I keep shaking it, all the buttons are gonna come out of place. So let's just do things the right way. Come out, little. Man, and on camera too. Jesus. Happy little accidents, right? That's what our friend Bob used to say. All right, we're back on track. Do this one first. This time. I don't know how many of you remember prior to the launch of the first Xbox, 2001, 2000, Microsoft took a lot of the lessons learned from the Dreamcast. It was really interesting reading all the reviews at the time and all the articles saying how they were coming to the conclusions that they were on how they were going to design their upcoming console that was going to kick everybody's butt. Honestly, if I had to pick what the best one from them was, it would be that one, the first Xbox, by a lot. Not a fan of 360. That's one of the worst consoles to work on, honestly. Everything and anything that can go wrong in a 360 will. At least in my experience. I know I've seen some people say that theirs has worked fine from day one. And I'm glad for them. So I don't often seek out 360 or Xbox One. Xbox One is probably my most hated console in the world. Okay. Let's see. Are we up against things? Okay, well, I'll get started on the second one. Catch you guys. Actually, we gotta wrap this up. So, verify that everything's good. And that the PCV was up against the shell. All the buttons had the right travel distance. Ooh, man, this is gonna kick my butt. One. You go to the opposite side. Shake hands today. do the right job. Always remember that. Spare yourself some heartache. Remember the little trick, go left first, then go clockwise when you're tightening them. Make sure that the threads align properly. You can also do the shake. You feel them. All right, that's that. Clean, ready to get paired with the system. We've already tested this. We know it's good. We'll test it again when we test it with the system.